Story 1. I'm drowning in despair. My divorce was finalized yesterday, and today I found out that my ex-husband and my boss are expecting their first child. I don't know if you remember me. I was here some months ago, and you helped me a great deal to cope with my grief. I talked about how my ex-husband was falling for my boss, and I was watching it happen with no power to do anything about it. I hope I can find all my old posts and include them in my bio. In case you don't remember me, I filed for divorce and a restraining order against him, and last time I talked to him was when he came home crying and yelling at me, trying to make me talk to my boss to tell her that he wasn't the creep I made him out to be. When I spoke with my boss, I never saw him again after I refused to help him win her back. A month later, his lawyer sent me a letter telling me that my ex-husband had moved to another city and that he terminated the lease on the apartment I had until the end of February to vacate. I moved back temporarily with my family. I never seen or heard from my ex again. Like I never existed in his life. He signed the divorce papers the second he got them and didn't ask for trial period. I meant nothing to him. At work, everything was back to normal. I rarely saw my boss, but the few times I did, she just nodded in acknowledgement with a smile. She didn't know who I was before. She wasn't coming to work as often as she usually did anyway, and she was homesick more often than she did. She usually is a working bee. I was glad she didn't try to take out her revenge on me for what happened. She just ignored the subject and never spoke to me again. I found out that my ex-husband found a new job, an apartment in his new city, and that he was seeing a therapist. I heard that he was trying to build his life back up because all of our friends and our families knew what kind of a creepy stalker he was now, and the reason why we got a divorce, and he couldn't handle the pressure. I heard that he cut contact with many of our mutual friends, those who defended and sided with me. I also found my own place. I put a down payment on a small apartment near my work and my family, and I was finally starting to come out of my shell. Yesterday, the divorce was finalized, and I finally felt some sort of hope, some freedom. This chapter's done. I don't know when and where I will find love. I guess I need to start with learning how to trust again. Before loving and giving myself to someone, I was optimistic. That until my friend sent me a screenshot of my ex-husband's IG. He had blocked me months ago, but yesterday, the day our divorce was finalized, he made a post with his hand hugging a woman's belly. The caption was, "I can't wait to meet you. I will love you. Like, I love your mother, and I will do so until the end of my time." The woman in the picture is my boss. Today, I asked around the office, and the rumors are that she is in a long-distance relationship with her BF. She also announced her pregnancy on her socials, and everyone was congratulating her. Will this pain ever go? What have I ever done to deserve this cruelty? Story 2. Final court date. Yesterday, divorce is official. I'm a bit of an emotional mess at the moment. Sunday night, my EX texted me, asking if I was okay. She said she was sad about tomorrow, which would have been yesterday, and told me she still loved me. I didn't respond back to that last text. I just left it at that because I was not in a good place to be having that conversation. Being it the night before, our final court date rolled around yesterday, and she's already there. I walked into the courtroom and just sat down at the first available empty row of seating. Then, I get a text from her, asking if I'd want to sit next to her. So I get up and walk back to the row she's on and have a seat. It's pleasant enough, and we exchange hellos and a brief hug. First hug in almost a year. It still felt kind of normal to sit close to her, with her arm wrapped around mine. I put my hand on her lap. Wasn't quite sure why I was doing that. Maybe for comfort. So we're waiting for the judge, and there's a lawyer there who explains to us all that he's there for free and wants to ask us the initial questions to try to speed up the process for all the people there, just to make sure we all have our answers straight. There's one question towards the end. Do you feel that there is any chance for reconciliation? EX looks at me behind teary eyes and just sort of smiles. She says, "I'm not happy, but I'm here anyways." God damn it, lawyer guy makes a joke, and we all laugh. She calmed down a bit, and I was able to suppress the urge to start bawling. We were called up, and the pit of my stomach sank. Almost felt like throwing up. We run through all the questions a lot faster than I was expecting. Judge didn't contest a single thing. We put on our final decree. Divorce granted was the only thing he said. We exit the courthouse without saying much. Courtroom was on the 3rd floor, so we rode down the elevator together. She gave me another hug there and said, "Now we can get back to being friends?" I welcomed that more than I realized. We walked out to our cars and gave each other another hug and a kiss on the lips. We both apologized again and parted ways with one more hug, ending with her saying, "If you need anything, don't hesitate to call me, please. Also, we should hang out." Okay, I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so I left there and headed straight for the gym. I was able to hold all my emotions in check through most of class, but every stop stopping point I had that sudden swelling in my eyes and my throat felt like it would close, showered, and left for home. Admittedly, I cried on the way home. The feelings of guilt and regret came up some vindication, small bits of relief, but mostly scared. This will be the first time I've been alone ever. Granted, I've been alone since separating, but I guess not being officially divorced made it not feel alone. Does it make sense? Is this normal? Shouldn't I be a little happier? Story 3, 26 female. My divorce is legally finalized as of today, and today is the last day I'll see my ex. My ex, 25 male, and I were together for almost 8 years. We were both each other's first relationship. It has always been a little bit rocky, and I honestly don't think we were ever compatible for each other, but we knew nothing else. He loves to drink, vape, smoke, and party, whereas I love to read books, travel, exercise, watch TV, and go shopping. He was in the military, and oftentimes I had to beg him to call, text, email me when he was deployed. He wouldn't, and he'd say he missed me too much to do so. In 2020, I had asked him for a divorce and was going to go through with it, but he sat me down, begged me to stay, and to go to therapy with him. We went to therapy once. He said the therapist was targeting him, not pointing out my flaws, and we never went again because he didn't like it. For a while, there was an issue with intimacy where he didn't want to be with me, and that really hurt my confidence. A year and a half later, though, and he was out of the military. So I guess both of us thought we could fix things. He was horrible with compromise, and even though I really didn't want to, I moved into his grandpa's fourplex with him in a small town, with not much to do and not many job opportunities. We stayed there in hopes of saving money, but had to change the carpet, buy a new stove, and he crashed the rental car when we were moving. So we lost about $10,000 in just that. The house made me sick, had mold everywhere, and he didn't do anything to try to improve it. He stopped working after the military so he could relax, and for 6 months, I worked 12-hour shifts, and he'd ask me to cook for him and grocery shop for us. Eventually, he started school and got a part-time job. He started acting weird. A month prior to the divorce, he had a work party and had carpooled with a female coworker. He came back drunk. He was the one driving. There was one night I was visiting my parents and realized our cameras hadn't gone off yet, so he hadn't come home yet. I asked where he was, and he had said he'd gone to the bar with his coworkers. The same female was there. I asked him to just tell me when he's out. Then I kept finding charges on our cards that he'd been going to the bar still and not telling me. When I confronted him, he said I was acting jealous and crazy, and he didn't need to tell me where he was at any time. He told me I was asking for too much. The next day was the first day of my 10-day vacation from work. I work an extremely stressful job and have tons of overtime, so I was really looking forward to resting. He then came home from work, sat me down and told me he wanted a divorce, and nothing could change my mind. He told me at the beginning of my vacation, so I could figure things out, aka move out in 10 days. I found my own apartment, bought a new car, and moved in by myself. In less than 10 days, I'm really proud of myself for that. Not to say there weren't any good moments in our marriage, but looking back, I really wish I had known my worth and left when I had wanted to. I found out I most likely was cheated on, and now I'm still in this small town that I never wanted to move to. Every compromise was him getting me to just say yes to what he wanted. On the bright side, we never had kids, and today's the last time I will ever have to see him. At 26, I'm living on my own for the first time and single as an adult for the first time. I used to think I was damaged goods. Sometimes I still do, but I also think there have been opportunities to be with new people, and I'm just not ready for that yet. I've been told by my family, friends, and coworkers that I seem like a new person now, that I'm glowing, always laughing and joking around. I just feel bad for my past self for dealing with that for so long. I'm sure one day I will be completely healed and be able to move on, but it's going to take time.